clock had just reached 5 o'clock p.m. in Japan when Tokyo experienced a moment later described as the calm before the global storm. The afternoon sun illuminates the city with soft gold, creating long shadows across the Shibuya intersection, where thousands of people usually move like synchronous waves. But on this particular night, the flow of the crowd faltered. People were slowing down, head turned, and then the first whispers come sharp, urgent, electrifying. What is it? Jungkook, a student near the intersection, claims he saw a familiar silhouette reflected in a storefront window. Other tourists swear he recognized his walk, his posture, a calm aura that even anonymity could not hide. And before anyone had time to fully process what was happening, the second name hit the air like a shockwave. Taehyung, two black-masked, beanies-clad figures in low-cut, oversized jackets blend seamlessly into the Tokyo crowd, yet somehow stand out more than anyone. What made the sighting explosion was not just Jungkook and Taehyung being in Japan at the same time. It was the energy between them, synchronicity, the ghost of something familiar but not seen for a long time. Fans describe it as the kind of chemistry you can feel even from blurry pixels. At 5:03 a.m., a shaky TikTok video captures the two walking past Miyashita Park. Jungkook is slightly ahead, Taehyung adjusting his pace with ease. The video was only 3 seconds long, but it was enough to break the internet. Comments flood the timeline in seconds. Screenshots have been posted. An enlarged analysis begins. Even the way Taehyung adjusts his mask becomes a topic of investigation. But what really keeps people glued to their screens isn't the simple fact that the two are together. That's how they look together. Jungkook, broad-shouldered, steady, moves with a calm confidence that he never completely hides. Taehyung, calm, graceful, with a calm presence that softens the edge of cold December nights. They don't try to stand out. They don't even realize the mess they're about to unleash. They look like two men sharing a moment that had been waiting too long. They walk down a narrow street lined with vintage shops, neon lights flickering as the sky darkened. Taehyung pauses to check out a small display of handmade rings, something he used to collect during tour breaks. Jungkook, realizing he had stopped, turned around and stepped back towards her impatient, not annoyed, just silently watching. Someone nearby described the look he gave Taehyung as gentle, almost protective, like he was making sure Tae wasn't overwhelmed. The crowd around them had not yet realized who they were. The Japanese have a way of appreciating space, not being intrusive, pretending not to notice even when they see it. So Jungkook and Taehyung keep going, not realizing that the whole world has gone crazy. T5:15, clearer photos began to surface. One shot captures the exact moment when Jungkook leans slightly towards Taehyung as they cross the street. It is subtle, barely noticeable, yet full of unspoken meaning. Fans went wild dissecting the picture. The way he checks traffic for both of them, one fan posted. They move like a team. The theory exploded instantly. Are they recording something? Working on a secret project? Meeting out of schedule for personal reasons? Or simply reconnect after months of silence? But then a detail appeared that changed everything. That a cafe owner near Jungkook'S spoke to local media, saying two men who looked very similar to Jungkook and Taehyung sat in his shop for almost half an hour. They ordered a warm drink, something simple, and sat in the quietest corner. He said the younger one, who fans thought was Jungkook, kept talking with small hand gestures, while the older one, Taehyung, listened in a very focused manner, occasionally smiling, sometimes nodding slowly. What he remembered most was the atmosphere between them. Means, he said, like they were discussing something important, but entertaining each other at the same time. I don't want to stare, but the energy around them was heavy and warm all at once. Shortly after they left, another eyewitness described seeing the two on a small pedestrian bridge overlooking the city lights. Taehyung stood leaning against the railing, staring at the horizon, while Jungkook stood beside him, his head slightly bowed as if immersed in his thoughts. For a moment, no one spoke. They just breathed the same cold air, shoulders almost touching, like two people who had finally found a quiet space in a world that never stopped watching. Some fans believe this moment is the emotional core of their outing, something long-awaited, something needed. The silence was not awkward. It's not far. It is shared, familiar, grounded. The internet, meanwhile, is in chaos. Hashtags are surging globally. News outlets rush to confirm. Millions of fans camped out on social media, refreshing the schedule endlessly. The most amazing eyewitness came from an elderly couple walking home. They claim they saw two people standing under a streetlight, facing each other. Not argue, not performing, just talking calmly, thoughtfully, like two people who end up saying things they've kept inside for too long. The couple didn't know who they were at first, but later said whatever they talk about, it seemed very personal. As the clock approached 6 o'clock, the last sighting of the night occurred. A taxi driver saw two masked men entering a narrow alley leading to a rooftop viewpoint overlooking central Tokyo. He did not follow, but he said one thing that was inherent in everyone who read his statements. They move like they trust each other. And then they disappeared in more photos, in more videos, in more witnesses. That it was as if Tokyo swallowed the moment whole, protecting something fragile. But the world has not forgotten, because what happened that afternoon was not just news. It was a phenomenon. Seismic shift, a whisper that turned into a storm, a reminder that even after everything, distance, time, silence, separate paths, Jungkook and Taehyung still share a connection strong enough to freeze the entire city at 5:00. Whatever led them there, whatever conversations took place in those quiet corners of Tokyo, one thing was clear. The bond between them is still alive, still warm, still real, still strong enough to stop the world with one sighting. And the world will talk about it today, this clock, for a very, very long time. And it was precisely when the world began to think that the story of the night was over, a little information emerged from an employee of a 24-hour store near the Shibuya Riverwalk. He said that around 6:15 p.m., two men looking very much like Jungkook and Taehyung walked in to buy a warm drink. They seemed more relaxed than they had been in an hour, as if the conversation on the rooftop had removed something heavy from their chests. Jungkook chooses a can of hot coffee, while Taehyung takes honey tea. The employee recalled the two giving each other small looks that were only understood by people who had known each other for years. A look that is not splashy, not dramatic, but very sincere. There was a moment that the employee recounted with a small smile. When Taehyung was about to pay, Jungkook held Taehyung's hand and said quietly, "It's okay, I got it." The voice was not loud, but clear enough to make the employee fall silent in his place. It wasn't the voice of a superstar talking to a coworker. It was the voice of a best friend, or perhaps someone more than that, speaking warmly, thoughtfully, and very gently. After leaving the store, the two walked slowly through the side of the river. The lights of the city bounce on the surface of the water, creating their shadows that move side by side like two figures in a painting. Many describe this passage as the most artistic moment of the entire events of the evening, as if the world had completely stopped so that the two could walk without pressure, without highlights, without burdens. Not long after, a drizzling rain began to fall. However, they did not run, did not look for shelter. They just pulled the hoodie a little tighter and kept going. An amateur photographer passing by described the scene as something too beautiful for real. Two men, walking under a thin Tokyo downpour, sharing a silence louder than thousands of screams. Until now, no one knows where they went after that. There was no extra trace, as if the city decided to close the curtain just when its story reached its most tender point. However, 5 p.m. in Japan is not just an ordinary day. It was the day when two names that once shook the world reappeared together, without announcement.